Tom Bower, the legendary royal author, is sharpening his quill for a new edition of his book set to reveal huge secrets inside Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's marriage.
There's nothing original here.
You're having the best birthday you've ever had. Thank you for everything.
Which is really such a fake. When she was younger.
Hi, Nanny. I got an English award.
100% a bully brat.
I think when I was 30, if I thought about 50, I thought that is an awful long way away. And I don't really need to think about it. And then I blinked and I'm 50. That's crazy.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
I thought, what is she not contextually aware? She's trying to hide something. This is really sloppy.
She's absolutely.
I think the palace and the machinery of the monarchy needs to take Harry and Meghan more seriously and make sure that Harry and Meghan's antics don't impact the future of
Meghan is living a life that she's winning and she's doing all these great things, but the reality is not that. The reality is she's a joke.
Is face up to the blackmail that's coming from California and in some way or other undermine Harry's and Meghan's credibility.
That was her goal. Hashtag goal, to marry Prince Harry.
She's stuck because she was an actress who became a real princess, who wants to be an actress again, but has to continue to pretend to be a real princess.
There are so many telltale signs that something is clearly wrong with Meghan. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but I mean, how can you get your age so wrong? Did you know that in 1997, when she met Yasmin Bleeth, when she claims that she was working for Humphrey Yogurt, age 13, she also, or somebody with the name Meghan Markle, filled out a questionnaire for Sears.
Tom Bower has just dropped a massive, earth-shattering bombshell that has Meghan Markle's high-powered legal team working frantic overtime. The legendary, feared royal biographer famous for tearing down the world's most untouchable elites has officially brought out the receipts on what could be the biggest biographical scam in Hollywood history. For years, we've been told that the Duchess of Sussex was born on August 4, 1981, making her 44 years old today. But what if I told you that the official timeline is a complete fantasy? What if the whole world has been duped, and Meghan Markle is actually pushing 50 or even older? We are talking about physical magazine archives, hidden university directories, deleted talent profiles, and shocking testimonies from people who claim they knew her back in the day. The Montecito Palace is reportedly in absolute lockdown right now, with panic alarms ringing as reporters race to verify these unearthed documents. Is this the ultimate Hollywood cover-up finally unraveling right before our eyes? How do you fake your entire identity for over 2 decades without getting caught? Grab your popcorn, hit that like button and stick around because the evidence Bower compiled isn't just suspicious, it is completely, utterly devastating. This video is relevant because it discusses royal biographer Tom Bower's intense investigations and public commentary surrounding Meghan Markle and the royal family. To really grasp the magnitude of this massive scandal, you first have to understand exactly who is driving this investigation. We aren't talking about some anonymous social media account or a random clickbait tabloid channel throwing wild theories at the wall to see what sticks. We are talking about Tom Bower, the undisputed heavyweight champion of investigative journalism. This is a man who has built an entire legendary career out of systematically taking down powerful billionaires, corrupt politicians, media tycoons, and untouchable public figures. When Tom Bower sets his sights on someone, his targets don't just issue quick public relations statements. They call emergency meetings with their highest-paid legal teams. He spent years meticulously researching his blockbuster work, dissecting every single frame of Meghan Markle's rise from a struggling cable television actress to a global royal figure. And while his previous writings already painted a damning picture of ambition, calculated moves, and endless palace drama, this latest wave of unearthed documentation takes things to a completely unprecedented level. For over 7 years, the public narrative surrounding the Duchess of Sussex has been carefully curated. We were told she was born on August 4, 1981, making her a fresh-faced 36-year-old when she walked down the aisle at St. George's Chapel in 2018. But according to the explosive paper trail now making the rounds through media archives, that official timeline might be one of the most elaborate personal fabrications in modern entertainment history. Why would anyone lie about their age, you ask? To the average person living a normal life, a few years here or there might seem like a silly, harmless vanity issue. But in the cutthroat, hyper-obsessed ecosystem of Hollywood casting offices, age is absolute currency. In the early 2000s, when Meghan was pounding the pavement in Los Angeles, auditioning for background roles, holding briefcases on game shows, and desperately trying to land her big break, passing 30 was considered a career death sentence for an aspiring leading lady. Casting directors had strict age limits, pushing women over 30 out of youthful ingenue roles and into older motherly categories. If you wanted to survive in that town, staying 24 forever wasn't just a preference, it was an absolute business necessity. And that brings us directly to what investigators are calling the ultimate smoking gun in this unraveling timeline. Let us take a trip back to March of 1997. In page 90 of a nationwide print issue of 17 magazine, there is a published feature article featuring a young Meghan Markle. Right next to her picture and quote, the official magazine print clearly lists her age as 21 years old. Now, let us do some very simple arithmetic together because the math here is mind-boggling. If Meghan was genuinely born on August 4, 1981, as her official Buckingham Palace biography and Wikipedia page state, she would have been exactly 15 years old in March of 1997. 15. How on earth does a major national print publication mistake a high school teenager for a 21-year-old adult woman? A 6-year discrepancy is not a minor typographical error. It is not a missing comma or a misspelled middle name. When researchers went into physical print archives to inspect the original issue, confirm the publication dates, and verify the issue numbers, the record was proven to be 100% authentic. Either 17 magazine made an unprecedented, massive mistake about a relatively unknown girl, or Meghan was already presenting herself as an adult in her 20s long before the world ever knew her name. If that was the only document, perhaps her supporters could brush it off as a bizarre media anomaly. But the paper trail keeps going and it gets exponentially weirder. When investigators began digging through historical snapshots of digital databases, they uncovered another staggering piece of evidence. Archived versions of Meghan Markle's official Internet Movie Database, or IMDb, profile from her early acting days originally listed her birth year as 1977, not 1981. Think about that for a moment. IMDb is the industry standard resume for actors. It is managed directly by talent agencies, publicists, and representatives who feed verified biographical data to casting departments. Why would her official professional acting profile display a 1977 birth year for years before suddenly being altered to 1981, right around the time her public profile began to rise? That 4-year difference allowed her to slide under the radar during crucial auditions, giving her a massive competitive edge in an industry notoriously brutal toward aging women. The inconsistencies do not stop with talent profiles and fashion magazines. When you examine her time at Northwestern University, the official story crumbles even further. Official records claim that Meghan graduated in 2003 with a double major in theater and international studies at the age of 22. It sounds like a picture-perfect academic timeline on paper. However, when investigators tracked down alumni directories, group photos, and former classmates who shared classrooms with her during those exact years, a completely different reality emerged. Multiple peers from her university cohort who appear alongside her in archived campus photographs are currently in their early to mid-50s today. Take, for example, a famous photograph from the Northwestern Salsa Club, showing Meghan standing in the back row alongside a dozen other smiling students. When researchers contacted several individuals pictured in that very photo, every single one of them confirmed they were born in the early 1970s. So we are left with only two possible conclusions. Either a 20-year-old undergraduate was exclusively hanging out with a social circle nearly 10 years older than her, or she was actually their age all along and has been maintaining a fabricated birth year ever since. This pattern of timeline manipulation aligns completely with everything critics have accused Meghan of doing throughout her career. From her early days as a briefcase model on Deal or No Deal to her eventual casting on the television series Suits, her entire public narrative has been built on carefully timed reinventions. Past associates have frequently described her as someone who meticulously controls her image, trimming away inconvenient facts and reshaping her biography whenever a new opportunity arises. We saw this when details about her first marriage to Hollywood producer Trevor Engelson were downplayed during her royal courtship. We saw it when her past commercial deals and acting credits were embellished in press kits. And now, as these archival documents resurface, the public is realizing that the deception might go back much further than anyone ever imagined. What makes this scandal so toxic for the Duchess is that it isn't based on anonymous gossip or emotional opinions. It is rooted in hard physical evidence that anyone with access to public records can inspect. When you combine the 17 magazine feature, the altered IMDb entries, and the age distribution of her university peers, a clear and undeniable pattern begins to take shape. It presents the picture of an ambitious woman who realized early on that the truth was an obstacle to her grand Hollywood ambitions. She understood that in order to climb the ladder, she needed to create a persona that was younger, fresher, and more marketable to the executives holding the keys to her success. But while fading into a younger demographic might work in the fast-paced world of audition rooms and talent agencies, maintaining that lie on the global stage under the harsh spotlight of royal scrutiny is an entirely different game. As these shocking details began circulating among royal commentators, the initial reaction from Meghan's camp was absolute, unadulterated panic. Sources close to Montecito report that emergency phone calls were made to legal representatives, demanding that publishers cease circulating these archival findings. But you cannot simply sue physical print magazines from 1997 out of existence. You cannot send a cease and desist letter to physical university directories that have sat on library shelves for over 2 decades. The paper trail exists, it is permanent, and it is exposing the cracks in a carefully constructed facade that took 20 years to build. And as the public digests these initial revelations about her Hollywood years, the investigation turns toward an even more explosive source of truth, her own family members and the damning statements they have made behind closed doors. If you thought the paper trail from her Hollywood auditions was shocking, wait until you hear what leaked from inside her own family circle and the legal archives. This is where the story shifts from simple industry vanity into potential legal fraud, and the details coming to light are sending shockwaves through the legal community. For years, critics of the Duchess have been dismissed as conspiracy theorists. But when the very people who raised you, shared a home with you, and watched you grow up begin dropping subtle, coded hints that contradict your public narrative, the world is forced to pay attention. And no testimony has been more damaging than the quiet, uncomfortable statements coming directly from Thomas Markle and Samantha Markle. Let us start with Thomas Markle, a man who spent decades working under the harsh, precise lights of Hollywood film sets as an award-winning lighting director. He knows how production crews operate, he understands contracts, and more importantly, he knows exactly when his daughter was born. In numerous explosive interviews given since the 2018 royal wedding, Thomas has spoken openly about Meghan's childhood, her school plays, her early ambitions, and her rise to fame. Yet, whenever investigative journalists like Tom Bauer pressed him on the exact timeline of her birth, his reaction was strangely evasive. Instead of proudly declaring her birth date like any affectionate parent would, Thomas offered a cryptic response that left seasoned reporters stunned. He told investigators to simply check the official public records for themselves. Why would a father refuse to state the simple year his child was born? Why steer journalists toward physical records rather than giving a straight, direct answer? According to legal insiders, Thomas was acutely aware of the paper trail discrepancies and knew that making a false statement on record could carry massive legal consequences if an official investigation ever took place. Then we have Samantha Markle, Meghan's half-sister, who has been vocal about the glaring contradictions in the official Sussex biography. Samantha was born in 1964. According to the story told to the world when Meghan married into the British royal family, there is a 17-year age gap between the two sisters. On paper, that would mean Samantha was already a grown teenager when Meghan was brought home from the hospital as a newborn. But Samantha has repeatedly challenged this version of events, stating on record that the age gap between them growing up was vastly smaller than what Meghan claims. Samantha recalled sharing childhood memories, playing together, and interacting as young sisters in a way that would be mathematically impossible if a 17-year gap actually existed. If Meghan was born in the mid-1970s, as archived university rosters and talent profiles indicate, that age gap shrinks to under 10 years, perfectly aligning with Samantha's personal recollections. Beyond her immediate family, Meghan's own public anecdotes have repeatedly fallen apart under basic fact-checking. Take her famous, frequently recited story about working at Humphrey Yogurt at the age of 13. During public appearances, including high-profile panel discussions, Meghan has proudly recounted how she earned her own money as a young teenager and bumped into Baywatch star Yasmin Bleeth while wiping down counters. It sounds like a charming, humble beginnings story designed to build her relatable persona. But when investigative researchers dug into the timeline, the story unraveled completely. Archives show that the specific advertising campaign featuring Yasmin Bleeth did not even air until years after Meghan claims to have seen it as a 13-year-old. Furthermore, when reporters contacted representatives from the yogurt chain, company records revealed they had no employment history matching her claims at that specific age, as labor laws strictly prohibited hiring underage teenagers for those roles. It was yet another fabricated anecdote, crafted to embellish her personal narrative for public consumption. However, the most explosive element of this entire scandal isn't a forgotten commercial or a fake job story. It is what happened to official royal documents after the birth of her first child, Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, in May 2019. When Archie was born, his official birth certificate was filed with standard legal details, listing the mother's full legal name as Rachel Meghan Markle. This was standard, legally binding procedure. But then just weeks later, something unprecedented happened behind palace gates. The document was quietly and unexpectedly amended. Meghan's first and middle names, Rachel Meghan, were completely erased from the public birth certificate. The document was reissued listing her solely as Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. Palace insiders and legal experts interviewed by Tom Bower confirmed that such a drastic modification on a royal birth certificate was virtually unheard of in modern British history. Why go to such extreme lengths to strip your legal birth name from your own child's official record? Investigators believe Meghan was terrified of legal cross-referencing. If her full legal name, Rachel Meghan Markle, remained on a high-profile, globally scrutinized royal document, journalists and private investigators could easily cross-reference that record with earlier legal filings, university admissions records, passport applications, and previous marriage certificates. Any discrepancies in birth years across those legal documents would instantly expose the entire operation. By scrubbing her legal name and hiding behind a formal title, she created a massive barrier against public accountability. This calculated effort to erase her paper trail extends even further into her financial dealings. When Meghan and Harry signed multi-million-dollar deals with streaming giants like Netflix and Spotify, those contracts were executed under strict corporate guidelines requiring full legal disclosure. If an individual provides false biographical information, altered legal names, or inaccurate birth dates on binding corporate agreements, it constitutes material misrepresentation. Legal experts consulted for Bower's investigation noted that such misrepresentations can render massive corporate contracts completely void, exposing the signatory to catastrophic lawsuits and total financial ruin. As these fake investigative findings, leaked reports, and archival receipts continue to circulate, the public reaction has turned from mild curiosity into absolute outrage. The image of the humble, self-made humanitarian is shattering, replaced by the reality of a woman who appears to have engineered every single detail of her existence. Online forums are exploding with commentary, with critics demanding that the Duchess produce an unedited, certified copy of her original birth certificate to put an end to the controversy once and for all. Royal watchers are calling it the ultimate act of deception, pointing out the breathtaking hypocrisy of someone who preaches transparency while hiding fundamental facts about her own identity. The pressure mounting on the Sussexes is unlike anything they have faced before. With corporate partners watching nervously and public trust eroding by the second, the fallout from this investigation is threatening to destroy whatever remains of their global brand. And as we move into the final phase of this scandal, the legal and financial consequences waiting on the horizon could permanently strip them of their status, their contracts, and their standing on the world stage. The potential legal and financial fallout from these allegations isn't just a minor PR inconvenience. It represents an existential crisis for the entire Sussex empire. If the core details of a public figure's personal history are built on deliberate misrepresentations, the legal mechanisms designed to protect contracts, titles, and public trusts begin to turn into formidable weapons of accountability. Legal scholars and palace commentators are already mapping out the domino effect of hypothetical investigations, and the scenarios being discussed behind closed doors are unprecedented in modern royal history. Let us first examine the legal ramifications surrounding formal marriage contracts and royal registry filings. In the United Kingdom, as well as under international law governing legal civil documentation, providing knowingly false biographical information on official marriage certificates or statutory declarations can constitute legal misrepresentation. While an age discrepancy alone rarely invalidates a marriage automatically, it opens a dangerous legal doorway. If vital statistics provided to the General Register Office or palace authorities during the pre-wedding vetting process were inaccurate, legal experts note that it creates grounds for formal judicial reviews. If the foundation of legal filings is compromised, the downstream status of official titles, marital declarations, and succession documents faces immediate scrutiny. Beyond civil contracts, the financial consequences are even more immediate and brutal. The entire economic engine powering Montecito relies on massive corporate deals signed with global media networks. Entertainment conglomerates operate under strict corporate compliance frameworks. When multi-million-dollar agreements are executed, executive contracts routinely include moral conduct clauses, accuracy representations, and warranty conditions regarding personal branding. If a media partner determines that key biographical elements used to market a public figure were fabricated, those contracts can be frozen, disputed, or unilaterally terminated. The immediate loss of streaming revenues, combined with potential breach of contract lawsuits, would inflict catastrophic financial damage on an enterprise that already faces skyrocketing security costs and dwindling commercial offers. Furthermore, consider the institutional reaction from Buckingham Palace. The British monarchy operates on an unwritten contract of trust with the public, maintained by meticulous record-keeping and historical transparency. If an exhaustive independent investigation confirms that royal archives and succession registries were populated with false biographical data, the palace machinery will be forced to act decisively to protect the integrity of the crown. Insiders speculate that Parliament could face mounting pressure to introduce legislative measures stripping royal titles and removing individuals from the line of succession entirely to preserve institutional credibility. What we are witnessing is the potential collapse of a carefully constructed global narrative. The transition from Hollywood actress to international royal figure required immense public buy-in, built on stories of self-made success, humanitarian ideals, and personal authenticity. But when physical archives, academic records, and family testimony strip away that glossy exterior, the public is left questioning what else might be fabricated. The unraveling of a public identity at this level sends a clear signal to the entire entertainment industry. You can rewrite your narrative for executive casting couches, but you cannot rewrite history under the unyielding lens of global scrutiny. As pressure mounts from corporate boardrooms, legal teams, and millions of observers worldwide, the demand for absolute transparency has reached a fever pitch. The era of silent deflection is drawing to a close, and the truth will inevitably find its way to the surface.